In this video, you will learn about how we evaluate project for History Day. This video is followed by additional trainings that break down the sections of the evaluation sheet. Evaluation of a History Day project has some main considerations. These apply no matter what level or division you're reviewing projects for. First, projects are evaluated against themselves and not against the other projects in their judging group. History Day provides a rubric for this purpose. Next, while evaluating a project, it's important to remember that the comments you leave for the student are just as important as the rubric marks. The goal is to help students improve, and comments should give suggestions on how to do so. This third point reminds us to complete the rubric marks before your judge team decides on rankings. While reviewing your project, you should not be thinking about how to rank the projects, but how they fit into the evaluation rubric. This process limits bias and leads to better projects moving forward. Finally, the judging process is done in a collaborative group setting. You have fellow judges to discuss the project with, and it is an important step that you must not skip. You will judge your project as a team, usually a group of 3. There may be variation depending on the needs of your contest. The judge team works together to review the projects and to provide feedback to the students. You will also decide the advancers by reaching a consensus. This slide covers some sample steps you might take to review your project. Note that this might change depending on your category and the circumstances of your contest. The first step is a preliminary review of your assigned projects. You should begin by reading through the bibliography and process paper and then by moving on to the rest of the project. Take notes during your viewing and make connections to the rubric sheet. Then, you will begin to make rubric marks. If you are reviewing your project in advance, you may read, watch, or review the project again. If you are reviewing at an in-person contest, you will look at the notes you took during the review session. Remember that you should be measuring each project against the rubric and not against other projects in or outside of your group that you may have seen. You will share your rubric marks and your general thoughts about the projects with your teammates. The goal of this is to come to a consensus on the rubric marks and eventually on your rankings. Rubric marks should not vary more than 1 column between the group. This is not meant to remove disagreement, but it is meant to ensure that the students are receiving clear and logical feedback from all 3 judges. For example, a student who receives one evaluation sheet with a mark of exemplary and another sheet with a mark of novice in the same category will be confused and may question the validity of the judging process. Your group might disagree, and that is okay. We will discuss how to encourage collaboration in a later video. Finally, you will revise your rubric marks and write comments in light of your group's discussion. Your marks may shift depending on your discussion. Additionally, you will have to write comments to explain your rubric marks. See our video on writing comments for more. This is all guided by the National History Day evaluation sheet. The evaluation sheet is meant to help you help students. The rubric style evaluation form has 2 sides separated into 4 main sections. The first 2 sections are the rubric boxes themselves, separated in historical quality and clarity of presentation. The next section is where you will indicate any rules compliance issues. The fourth section is a comments area where you will leave explanations to help students understand your rubric marks. As you can see, the rubric marks are separated into 5 columns. We will explain how to determine between the rubric marks exemplary, proficient, developing, novice, and not evident. The historical quality section is comprised of 8 rows: historical argument, theme, wide research, primary sources, historical context, multiple perspectives, historical accuracy, and significance in history. The clarity of presentation section is comprised of 3 main fields, made up of 3 or 4 checkboxes that cover project and category specific criteria. We will cover all of those in depth in following videos. One thing to note is that each field should be viewed separately, but the project evaluated as a whole. This means that one might score very highly on historical context, but might not score highly on historical argument. The rules compliance section follows the clarity of presentation section. This section changes depending on the category. As you can see, the website rules compliance section is quite long. The next video will discuss rules and infractions and how to handle them. Thank you for joining Maryland History Day. All judges, please continue on to video 6.